Hello and welcome to another filming of Stellaris Apocalypse playthrough. We just started another upgrade to the Dyson Sphere. I think there's one more after this. I was thinking that it would give you a whole heap of 24 squares to actually work with, or give you 124 that has a whole heap of production. But now that I'm upgrading it, I think you might get a whole heap of energy. Then once you're finished with the final upgrade, it might give you a whole heap of minerals and then research. That's my guess, because it doesn't actually tell you what you're gonna get, I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look. Military, civilian. Now, I can only build one, but hopefully it will just pop up and let me know. Megastructure. Cost. Oh, wait a minute. If the Dyson Sphere only produces energy, if that's all it does, like you can't actually do anything with it. Energy credits. Is that it? I think the Dyson Sphere is quite useless if that's all it does, because my energy production is pretty good as it is. Actually, I'm pretty disappointed with the megastructures if that's all it does. 50,000 credits. So 250,000 credits for energy. 250,000 minerals for energy. That's 50,000. Yeah, 250,000. The sensor array tells you where ships are. Covering the... But it doesn't actually help you survey planets. You'd think with the sensor array your survey ships would survey planets faster. It should be some sort of boost. Science Nexus, as your research... As your empire gets bigger, the percentage of excess energy this research this gives you is less and less. Gateways, I'm not entirely sure are of any benefit. Habitats are good, but that comes from a separate research. Okay. So I don't normally read. I try to read these things, but I miss things. And I was thinking, okay, this might give you more and more stuff as it gets bigger, but all it seems to do is give you energy. I'm not really sure it's worth so much time and effort to build it for the energy. You really don't need that much excess energy. I guess it would save you building tiles on your planets, but I'm a stickler for making sure that every single planet has excess food and excess energy. That's what I always have thought of. They must be self-sufficient. If anything happens to another planet that was supporting it, then it's going to go into the red. Every planet must be self-sufficient for your empire to run efficiently. So, this Dyson Sphere, if all it gives you is energy, I'm not going to be too about it. I'd rather just build ring worlds everywhere. In all my systems, I'd just rather build ring worlds. Just build them everywhere. You might not get 1,000 energy from them, but you can control the amount of food, the amount of energy, and the amount of minerals from each ring world. It was open. So I'll show you over here. I found this abandoned ring world and rebuilt it. And all I did was specifically I was going for mineral output. So that's why there's a lot of minerals. A lot of mineral, a lot of mineral, and a lot of mineral. You will see that there's not a hell of a lot of research coming from it. So I even built mineral resources on the research resources, because the only purpose for this was resources. Was to get minerals. I had enough food and enough energy for each one to maintain itself. I even had a bit of excess energy because while I was building it I had a bit of problem with energy, so I put a bit more excess energy into it. But you can see here that all you have to do is, if you want to get your energy up, you don't need the ring, you don't need the Dyson Sphere. To get your research up, you don't need the megastructure, the nexus. If you focus on the ring world, if you replace this one with the ring world, because it's either that, you can get that and the ring world, but I'd prefer just to get the ring world because the sensor array is meh to me. You've got ships and all sorts of things out there. Yeah, if you're stuck in the corner like I am, the sensor array will tell you everything. It tells you where every single ship is, what every single ship is doing. That's what it tells you. That's it. I don't really care what's happening over here when I'm living down here, and all I have to worry about are these civilizations. You know, this might have a friendship with one of these, but by the time I wipe them out, their fleet's on their way. I've wiped them out, and hopefully my fleet will be ready for them coming in. I think if I ever do conquer this sort of thing, I will destroy the gateways. I think they're more of a hindrance than a help. I'm not sure, again, if the enemies can come in through the gateways. I'm not going to take that risk. I would rather destroy the gateways if I can. I'm not sure if you can destroy them, but if I can, I would. If I can't, I'd just build a starbase in that system to make sure that anything that came through the wormhole was destroyed as soon as it entered. Or at least slowed down so I get my fleet there. I don't find them useful. I can send my fleet fast, but even my fleets, I can't get my fleet strength up because every time I try, something comes along and kicks me down. So I had my fleet exactly where I wanted it to attack here, and I had a civil war with the robots. Lost a large chunk of my civilization here, as you can see, to different factions. So the only option I have now is to attack. I'm thinking I'll do this one first because their ally is all the way over here. They're a large ally. Like you can see, it's twice the size of both of us combined, even probably bigger. But the war exhaustion, by the time they get their fleet in order to send it over, apart from the gateways, again, I don't know how good they are or how they work. Again, as soon as I attack, I'd probably destroy the gateways if I can, so that they can't send their fleet reinforcements across the galaxy to me. I really don't know how good they are. Yeah, so my entire focus at this point is getting my research up, getting my damage output going, getting my hit points up, and all I want to focus on is I only researched this because when I did, this was down to double digits. I don't know what happened, but it dropped right down. Now that I've got that Dyson Sphere being built, it's gone up again. So, yeah. Normally I'll focus on energy damage, energy weapon damage, kinetic and rocket damage, and military might. So we'll have to wait and see. I want to get this Dyson Sphere finished just so I can say, yeah, I've done the megastructures. I've got one of each: the ring world, the science nexus, this array, sensor array, and the Dyson Sphere. Yeah, and again, influence has become so pointless in this game. I really don't know why they kept it. They made it so important in the previous game. You had to have it. And in this game, I'm not using it. At the beginning, you'll use it quite a bit, but as you can see, it just sits there. The other cultures are making claims on my territory. I don't know how they can claim it. as theirs when they, like I said, this civilization is on the literally on the opposite side of the galaxy, and this one's next door to it. How they managed to claim this as their own, I have no idea. Yeah. Yeah. So I think if anything, next playthrough I will go for the ring world, because the habitats are good and the ring worlds are good. But once you get to the ring worlds, the habitats are useless. But the habitats, you have to get the habitat one to get the ring world. You can't have the ring world without the habitat. So the habitats are pretty good in planetary systems where you've already got an planet populated, and the ring worlds would go into these systems where there are no planets, any colonizable planets. And yeah, again, if you have that in your energy sector, it's going to purely focus on getting energy output. You put it into your the ring world into your mineral sector, they're going to focus on mineral output. You put one in your research sector, they're going to focus solely on research. So I think overall, I was going to do what I think video, but I'm not going to waste time just doing another video for no reason. Unless someone asks for it, which I doubt. I think you're better off getting the ring world and just building your science. Instead of having a science nexus, you just purely focus that entire ring world on research. Just build in a research sector. I don't know how this affects your assist research from your science vessel. I'm not sure how that works with that. Energy weapon. There we go, that one's the cheapest. I'm not exactly sure how that would work. I can try that now, I guess. Send my civilian ship. Actually, if it doesn't actually work, it won't actually send. There you go. It can assist research. So if you got this entire ring doing nothing but research, then yeah, you send a science vessel there, and I think at this point it's 22% or 20% excess. So whatever you're outputting there, you just put 4 science vessels around that ring world, and it will produce 20% more research from it. So let's have a look. Okay. Did I build a single research on any of them? There's no... I'm just... Okay, I'll have to do this then. I'm not going to build it. I just want to see... maintenance is 1 energy. Maintenance is 1 energy. That's the nexus. That puts out 16. Okay, so those 2 alone are enough to just to power your thing in general. So for those 2 alone, you can just build a few farms to keep the... Like I said, I always have the farms and the energy to maintain that settlement. You probably need 3 farms. And this, and then every other square. So if you look at this way, 2 energy, putting out that much, 20. Okay, you might need a bit. You might need to build 1 more energy just to have that extra bit. But you have that energy. You have 3 farms producing food, and then you've got 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 producing research. So that's 19 of each, and then each one of these to be upgraded in a specific branch of research. So if 1 ring is specifically for physics, 1 ring is specifically for society, and 1 is specifically for engineering, you've got 19 plus... I'm not sure why there's a bonus, but 19 plus another 7 or 6. I'm pretty sure you get +1 and it goes up 5, so 6. So 19 times 6. times 5 from each ring. I have to use a calculator because I can't brain today. Let's see, calculator. 19 times times 6 because the extra 5. So you'll get 19 of the society, 19 of the engineering, and then 19 times 6 equals 114. That alone is half the nexus. Half the nexus. So you're better off going for a ring world rather than a nexus. So one full ring world will replace the nexus. Boom, done. It doesn't cost any mineral to run the institute. As you can see, it costs energy. So if you build 9 energy. Wait a minute. Oh wait a minute. That's the main. That's why that one's so powerful. This is the one we want to look at. 2.7. So 3. Okay, so you might have less. You might have 17. 17 because you need the energy to run it. But still 17, 17 and 17, and then you got that spare one where you can just build. Well, what happened? Oh, the happiness wore off. And that spare one where you can just put one of each, you know, until you get 1 of each, 2 of each, 3 of each, 4 of each, or whatever. Yeah, 4 of each. That will put it up another 4, 8, 9. Yeah, I can't brain today. So I think 9 by 4. Yeah, so that'd be 16 or 15 or 16 by 4. By 6, and that'll be 9 by 5. My brain is not 100%. Okay. What? Oh, who gives a crap about the other things? Yeah, so I would focus on ring worlds purely because one ring world would be close to a nexus. You can only build one nexus, but you can build an unlimited number of ring worlds. As long as you have star systems, you can build ring worlds. You turn off your migration and then you force the migration off your planets so that the planets are empty. You can't build a ring world in a populated planet system because the ring world itself will use all the resources to destroy the planetary system to build a ring world. So once you build a ring world, you force the population to migrate. That makes them unhappy, but the ring world is 100% compatible to all species. So, as you can see, there's no unhappiness due to the habitability of the platform. So there is unhappiness, but not due to the habitability. So they're going to be unhappy that they were forced to move, but in the long run, you'll get more population. Unless you got a star system with enough planets that you've got 100 plus population. 100 plus population because of the amount of planetary bodies you've got in there. For each star system, you can have 100 population. That's pretty good. You're going to get a penalty to your research just because you own a planet. You're going to get a penalty to your research just because you own a system. So as long as on every single ring world, on every single platform you build at least one research to offset that penalty, your research should be pretty good. And then when you get to this point, you don't get a penalty to your mineral or energy production for each planet you have. It's only your research, and I think the unity is, but you can see I've got 832 unity. It's not an issue with the unity. Your research is what drives your civilization. If you can't research weapons, you're going to get wiped out. If you can't research defenses, you're going to get wiped out. If you can't research food resources, you're going to starve your civilization trying to build them up. So really, I think the ring world in itself is better than the sensor array, the Nexus, and the Dyson Sphere put together. You can only have one of each of those, whereas the ring worlds you can build as many systems as many star systems as you have. You can build a ring world. One ring world, or two ring worlds. You know, one is almost as good as a science nexus. Two is better than a science nexus. You know, me, I've got a science sector, so I would build at least 3 ring worlds. One purely for physics, one purely for society, one purely for engineering. So that'd be 100 squares devoted to trying to get my research going. Obviously, you'd lose a bit to energy production and a little bit to food production. But overall, you're better off having one ring world completely devoted to one research, another one devoted to another, and you'll have 3 ring worlds completely done into research. In that effect, 2 ring worlds would be more than enough to be better than the Nexus. 3 would be more than double the Nexus, putting out about 500. Right, this is like a rough guesstimation, you know. 500 research if you just put research. My main thing would be to build a ring world in my energy first, because everything that relies on energy, and I would just plant energy, nothing but energy buildings. That alone should power, that can't be right, more than a Dyson Sphere? Hang on, I've got to check that. That can't be right. Energy. 11. 11 times 20. Let's just say I'll use food and other buildings, at least one research, but 11 times 20. That's 200. 220. Yeah, because you just put a 0 and double it. So 220, 440, 880. 880. So let's have a look at that. 880 before I forget. 880. Yeah, 1000. So it's partially better than an almost finished Dyson Sphere, and not as good as a full Dyson Sphere. And again, you can build a second one. 1760. Two ring worlds are better than one Dyson Sphere. You're way better off not bothering with it, unless you want to go for the military build. That sensor grid might be useful for you if you want to go for military and you need to know where the fleets are and what they're doing. The ones in orange are neutral, the ones in blue are friends, and the ones in red are enemies. That's pretty much it. That's all you need to know. So if you're going for a military build... what the hell is this? Oh, okay. Hang on, that's near my, that symbol's in my territory. Oh no, I thought it was that for some reason. I think it's all the spikes through me. Okay. Hang on, I don't want to, see, I want to be nice to them. It won't let me. Okay, so yeah, ring worlds in general kick ass. I can't remember how much it costs to replace them. I can't imagine these being more than 30,000 credits to build. There could be 40,000 actually, because if the sensor's 20, the science nexus is 30, they might be going up in 10,000. This could be 40,000, and then the Dyson Sphere could be 50,000. But I think it was like 10,000 to repair the broken one, so I'm assuming it's going to cost more than that to build it. But again, I've never actually built a ring world. That's something I'm going to choose in my next gameplay. I'm going to choose ring worlds, and then my empire is going to be full of them. I'm just going to have ring worlds everywhere. The first one would be energy production only, but I might actually just build one part of the ring world here, just to get 25 energy. One part of the minerals, just to get my minerals production. One part of the research, you know, and then just keep going up to the second part, the second part, the second part, the third, the third, the third. And then in each sector, if you just had one in each sector, you know, like I said, it was 11 power from a generator.
Research complete.
20 starbase capacity, but bam. But what I want to focus on is not here. What I want to focus on is oh, here it is, fleet capacity. I was thinking of naval capacity. I want fleet capacity as well. Fleet and naval capacity. So you can think about it. 2 ring worlds, and you can build more, but 2 ring worlds is better than 1 Dyson Sphere. 2 ring worlds is better than 1 science nexus. There are no megastructures that I'm aware of that produce minerals. So a ring world devoted purely to mineral production. 20 squares by... Let's just say 20 squares by 7 minerals. I'm not sure. Oh, that's only a level 2, so that's going to go up even further. I'm going to have to check another 9. 20 minerals by 20 squares by 9 minerals. That's bare minimum. 9. So 10. That's 200. 180. 180. Maybe less than 20, because the farm, 3 farms and at least 3 to 4 energy output plus your capital. So 15 at least. 15 by 9 minimum. 90 and 45, 135 mineral. And then with the research, you can output 5% extra mineral on top of that. I think the ring worlds kick ass. I think they are a lot better than anything else. And like I showed you before, you've got this one ring world devoted purely to this. And again, 15 by... that's too small a world to look into. 15 by... I have... Hang on, there should be research here. This is my research zone. Here it is. No, can't see here. Where are my planets with research on them so I can figure this out? Research 5. 15 by 5. That's 50 and 20. That's 75. Plus your 20% excess. So another 15. So 90. Each. No, I don't care about that stuff. I'm waiting for my minerals to reach 50 so I can finish off that Dyson Sphere. Yeah. So 90 research per platform. Minimum. minimum of 90 per platform. If you can increase your energy output, you can delete one of your energies and replace it for another research. And again, the more your research goes up, the more you can research your energy. The more you research your energy, the more you can build your research platforms. So it's a cycle. Boom, 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 boom. Let's have a look how far we off. Okay, this should be done by the end of my video if you have no surprises. 90 times 4 rings, 180, 360. That's better. One ring world would produce, if you focused on one specific type of research, one ring world is better than the science nexus. 90, 100, 360 just for that. But don't forget, whenever you build a science building, you get one of the others as well. So that's 15, 30, 60 at least. 60 for the others. Yeah, plus that 20%. 60 plus 20 is another 12. 72. Another 72 on top of that. And then when you build the next ring world, if you want to focus on one specific research, 360 and 72 and 72. 360, 72, 72. It's, you know, probably the first ring world you'd focus on all three. Or the first part of the ring world you'd focus on all three. And then as you get to the next sector, you might focus on energy, society, and then engineering, just going in that order, or whichever one you want. But you build one portion to get your energy up, you build another portion to get your mineral maintenance going, and then another portion here just to get your research going. Then once you have that one, you build the second one to get more energy, more resources, and really one ring world devoted to mineral production, like I have. For the most part, it's mineral production. I've got a bit of everything on them. But one devoted to mineral production will help. So if you have two ring worlds completely devoted to mineral production, that should run your empire for quite a while. If you can get the robots as a equal, and you put robots on those ring worlds only, the production of minerals would be phenomenal. So yeah, I would, at this point, if I had to choose between this and the ring world on its own, which I'm pretty sure the ring world was on its own, I'll choose the ring world on its own. Again, the only thing in here would be the sensor array if you're a military build and want to keep an eye on your neighbors. That's the only one that's in there's any use. Colossus, you need a large fleet to protect it. If you need a large fleet to protect it, you don't need it. You know, if you're strong enough to defend this against an attack of a fleet, then your fleet alone should be strong enough, and this should be obsolete. The only reason you would actually have this is if you wanted it. You just wanted to have it for the sake of having it. That's why I chose it, to see what it was, and it was pretty pitiful as for my build. The options I had to put on this thing were quite useless. I'm sure if I had chosen a different build, the weapons on this might have been very, very useful, but for my playthrough it was crap. This becomes obsolete once you get the ring world. I don't know if this flowed into each other and that's why I did in that order, or I thought I just wanted to see what this would do. But if you can get this without that, this will lead to the ring world, and that will be obsolete. Pretty much, the ring world is like a Gaia world. Everyone can live on it. Okay, a Dyson Sphere, I thought the whole purpose of a Dyson Sphere was to build an endless amount of colonizable space, but this thing, It shouldn't be called a Dyson Sphere. It should be called something else, because all it does is it produces energy. So it shouldn't be called a Dyson Sphere. That's misleading. A Dyson Sphere would suggest that it's a habitable zone. Or at the very least, you can see these platforms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if I'm counting correct. Oh, 6, yeah, and another 6 around at 7, so I miscounted that. 7, and then it will be doubled to 14, and I'm assuming there's bits and pieces in between, so probably another 7, another 6, sorry. So 6 and 7, 14, and another 6, 20. Yeah, so 20, I would have preferred to have one square of 25 building spaces, but if you built a mineral resource on there, you get 20 times the amount you'd normally get, and then when you upgrade it, you'd get 20 times the amount, something along those lines. This is very misleading. It should be called something else. I'm sure in some science fiction the Dyson Sphere is purely designed for energy production, but in main science fiction, as far as I understand it, the Dyson Sphere is purely for colonization. Go away, you useless thing. I thought this was really good until I realized that the again, sensor range. What do you need sensor range for if you got the sensor array? What do you need the sensor array for when your ships... Look at that sensor bubble. I'm on the edge of the galaxy. So if I'm halfway here, I can see from the outer edge to the inner circle with one ship. The sensor array is not very useful for close range. It's only for the opposite side of the galaxy. But it's a later game technology. If you're playing a military build, by the time you need to get to that technology, you've already conquered a lot of the galaxy. And the sensor array becomes useless because you're going to have like a large chunk of the galaxy to yourself. You're going to have planets and star bases, and they're all going to have sensors on them. So your border's going to be protected by this sensor net that's like halfway across the galaxy. So the sensor array isn't very useful. The Dyson Sphere can be easily replaced by... Ooh. There we go. I wasn't even paying attention. The Dyson Sphere can easily be replaced by 2 ring worlds of purely energy production, which is easy enough. You build 3 farms, your capital, and the rest is energy production. It's that simple. You may want to put 1 research facility on each one, purely to keep that that negative impact minused out. So yeah, 20 squares of energy production, 1 for the capital, 3 for food, and 1 for research, just so that you can cancel out that negative impact. Then once you've upgraded your food farms, you can delete a food farm and put another energy matrix in there. Once you've upgraded your energy output by 5%, you know, 20 by I think it was 9 we worked out. Energy production on a standard little thing, 13. So, you know, let's just say 10. Let's round it down to the nearest whole number, 10. 200 production, plus 5% is another 40. Plus 5% is another 40. You know, no, it isn't. I'm doubling it, not halving it. Be another 10. Then another 10, and then another 10. It makes a difference. It's difference of 30 if you calculate it backwards. But you see what I'm saying. It is not worth... The Dyson Sphere is just not worth it. You lose the entire... I'd assume this entire star system should be destroyed. If not, that might be a bit of a bonus, because you don't want to lose this we'll have to wait and see when the thing finishes as to what happens. When you build a ring world, I'd assume that no one's going to complain because it's a ring world, but once you build a Dyson Sphere, there's a possibility of going to war with someone because that's their god, or their ancient god. It's always been there for them. Now you're covering the light. So yeah, I would go the ring world every time. It's just not worth, especially if I've got to check that if you can only if you can only build one ring world, then it's not worth it. But if you can build as many, I could have just dribbled on for no reason. Maybe you can only build one ring world. I don't know. But if you can build multiple ring worlds, go for it. In the long term, if I can only build one ring world, again, I wouldn't bother with this one again. It's just not worth it. I just wouldn't bother. Late game, your science output should be so big that science nexus would be very little impact. The Dyson Sphere, your energy production should be always above anyway, so that's, you know, it's a waste of minerals that could be spent on building. The amount of minerals you put into building this when you could have built energy matrices on your planets and habitats, I just don't think it's worth it. A thousand energy for 250,000 minerals isn't worth it. I will be next time I play this game, I will definitely be building the habitat, and then I will build the ring world to see. Hopefully I can build more than one. If I can't build more than one, I don't know if it would be worth it, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure that some of the fallen empires had had up to 3 systems in the old game, up to 3 systems with ring worlds. So I'm assuming it might be based on your population. So once you get to a certain population growth, you can build another one. Who knows what it's based on? Because the Titan ships, you can only build as many Titans as you have Titan construction bays. Where are we? There we go. Assembly yards. So if you don't have any assembly yards, you can't build any Titans. But if you've got 24 stations, with each one has a Titan assembly yard, you can build 24 Titans. So I'm not sure how many ring worlds you can build and what the limitations are. What the goal is to get to the next ring world if you need to get to a certain goal to build a second one. Okay. Well, I think I'm not going to have this Dyson Sphere finished by the end of this video. Nah. That's 20-30 minutes away. I will save the video here. Hopefully the ring worlds, you can build multiple of them. If you can't, then this whole video speech about ring worlds and how awesome they are was pointless. But I'm hoping you can just build an endless number of ring worlds. The penalty you get for a ring world is that everything, if you build a ring world, everything in the solar system is converted into the ring world. So the only thing in the system will be the ring world, and possibly energy from the star. So if we look at this one, you can see the only thing in the star system, okay, energy from the star. The only thing in this system is the ring world. All the planets were destroyed to produce this ring world. So that's the only downside. You will lose your mineral production because you'll destroy that planet that it was on. So that's a look. So this would all be destroyed. The only thing in this system that would remain is the 2 energy from the star. But as you can see, there's 1 planet and 1 mine. That's it. And that's all. You can easily get 10 mineral from 1 production when it's fully upgraded. So whoop-de-doo if you lose 3, if you're going to replace it with 100. So again, I really hope the ring worlds are that useful that you can actually do that. Build 1 in each sector at least. Get your energy pumping, get your minerals pumping, get your research pumping. Because one fully fledged out ring world would be enough to almost cover your science nexus. Self-explanatory. Why? And also the science nexus, you can't put a science vessel on the science nexus to enhance the research. You can only do that on a planet. And as I showed before, it does actually work on the ring world. So, you know, 360. Was it 360? I can't remember now. I've recalculated different numbers. I think it was 360 from 1 square. 20 by 15 squares by 7. I think. It doesn't matter. But yeah, let's just say it's 100 per ring, per sector of ring. In the end, that whole ring will produce 400. That's almost double the nexus. I think I worked out that two rings of equally dispersed research was better than 1 nexus, and you can only build 1 nexus. So there are other ascension perks better than this. So if you replace this one with the ring, I'd hope it'd be a lot better. My gameplay does not allow for the Colossus build. It's not something I would go for. And I would go for the one, I'm pretty sure there was one in here that would help your military. Okay, so I'm going to save the game here and exit out. Save, exit out. I'll show you the mods have actually downloaded, and I can activate them. When they don't work, they have a little red X and a bit of a red border. So these have all been upgraded to the latest version. The next game I play, I might actually activate all 3 of these and do a Star Trek playthrough. Hopefully they won't do a 0.02 upgrade that makes these not work. Because I would like to play a game where I can test out every single one of these and just fully fledge it. I might actually do a video where I put the cheats in, give myself unlimited, you know, everything, and just show you everything. Why not, you know? But for now, make sure that was turned off. Yeah, for now I'm happy for the way the game is. Yeah, so as I end my video, I'll show you the platforms I use plus Arc, and the games I play are directly underneath those icons. The games I have already started videos with will be up the top here. So if you have any platforms or games you want me to play, just leave a comment and I'll do what I can. Please leave the clean comments, keep it civil in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.